Hi everyone, my name is Rizwan Patel, and I am one of the senior consultants with Alif Consulting. And today we are going to speak about the mailboxes which are being supported or which are being provisioned within Office 365, and how does the mailboxes, different types of mailboxes, gets in segregated with each other, and what are their tasks, and how do they function when it comes to email. So this is all about the mailboxes, and we are going to start about with different types of mailboxes. So as you see from the very first picture, where it in the middle it says it is a mailbox. So what exactly mailbox is in terms of receiving emails or sending emails? So mailbox you can compare or you can uh, conclude mailbox as a container, wherein it is a container who is responsible to receive emails or send emails, meetings, tasks, notes, and all these kinds of things. So whenever these things comes out or comes in or goes out, so it requires a container, a specific set of a container storage, wherein it would be procuring all these things, and we can save or receive emails or send emails. So that is the work of a mailbox. So in the earlier days, in the on-premises side, you might have heard about provisioning a mailbox on the on-premises level, would simply conclude or would simply consist of storages, wherein let's say if your mailbox database size, you first have to create the database, and after the database gets created, then you have to suppose create the user mailboxes and different types of mailboxes. So depending upon the storage container, let's say if I have a 5 GB of a mailbox of a storage container, so I have to first create in the mailbox database. So depending a single database, mailbox database can contain you or can have more than one mailbox within it. So it depends on which database your mailbox is stored. And let's say if your mailbox database size itself is 5 GB, it means that and there is only one mailbox is hosted on that mailbox database. So you can keep that mailbox's size of not more than 5 GB. Let's say if there are two now, so you can keep one of two and the other of three, or vice versa, or any customized size. So you need to make this sure that you should not be increasing the size. Let's say if you have a mailbox database of 5 GB and you're saying that you want a mailbox to be provisioned for more than 5 GB, let's say 6 GB, 10 GB. So in that case, your mailbox database first needs to be increased, wherein the mailbox can sit on that database and it could start working on it. So to avoid that, Microsoft then came with the cloud services that was called as Exchange Online. And what happened with this is you do not have to, rely on any on-premises of any physical storage container. However, at the backend, the mechanism is still the same. But yes, secondly, what it does is it gives you a cloud storage wherein you do not have to manage all the headache of storing your emails or content. That is something which would be taken care by the cloud architecture. And this was a big revolution. But yes, instead of you being paying for storage, now you would be paying in for licenses. So there are different types of licenses which comes across with the services when you go for the services in Exchange Online. Um, these the basic of them would include business basic license, a business standard license, a business premium, then enterprise level licenses. So all these things would contain mailboxes license with it. However, the cloud architecture only supports two mailboxes license, that is the plan 1 and plan 2, which we are going to see ahead. So you need to first understand what is a user mailbox, what is a shared mailbox, and what is a room mailbox. Basically, yes, there are three types of mailboxes. Room mailbox is also being bifurcated, or you can say it as the fourth way, that is the equipment mailbox. Now, what this does is, let's say if you have five users and they say that they would require licenses and their own login accesses. So within that scenario, you can only give them the option of user mailbox. So user mailbox is the one where the user would be having its own identity, because whenever a mailbox gets created, so at the top of it there is always a thing called as object, an exchange object. Unlike you create an exchange server in the on-premises, so exchange server cannot get deployed without the help of an active directory. So in active directory you create a user, then with the help of exchange you assign or provision a mailbox. So similarly, in Office 365 we have something called as cloud Azure Active Directory. So at that place, you have to first create the user with that name. Once the user gets in created, if you go ahead and assign the license, then automatically in the Exchange Admin Center, after assigning the license, what you would notice or see is that with that same person's display name or email address, you are now being able to see the mailbox being getting provisioned. So any of the mailbox which has a license to it as attached, that is called as a user mailbox. Shared mailboxes are license free, meaning that by default, whenever a shared mailbox identity is created, so there is no sign-in option available for it, meaning that it is being defaultly blocked for any shared mailbox. However, in cloud scenario, let's say if you are using a mailbox, a shared mailbox for common purposes, definitely this mailbox could be used with one person, two person, or multiple people, and they do not have their own identity to be able to log in with the help of credentials. You can create it, but ideally it is not being recommended by Microsoft. Only in those scenarios where the shared mailbox's size reaches 50 GB, then in that case, in order to keep that data intact, you need to assign the license so that your data is not lost and you can easily use that mailbox's data by assigning the license and with the help of delegate permissions, which we would be seeing in some next videos, which I would be creating. What about delegates? So once you need to be you are a delegate of a mailbox, then yes, you would be able to go ahead and create a shared mailbox and also access that shared mailbox. The third one is a room mailbox. So in corporate organizations or in whichever organization we work, let's say if we need to have a virtual gathering or a meeting, a physical meeting. So how this day happens is on several floors there are several meeting rooms. So those meeting room mailboxes are created with those rooms, keeping things in mind that if you are going to use that room, you need to first send a meeting invite by keeping this room mailbox intact. So whatever the size of that room mailbox is, it would be giving you an attribute like 4 people, 6 people, 8 people, and so on. That would be the size which would be supported by that room mailbox, and accordingly, whichever attendees you would be selecting while at the time of creating a meeting and selecting your attendees by keeping in this room mailbox added to it, so that would automatically book the room at that time. Let's say if I booked it for 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. at a specific time zone, and if someone else is trying to book that same room mailbox at that same time, it is not going to allow, stating that this room is already being occupied for this and this time. So these are the purposes to create a room mailbox. So whatever meetings invites you send to that room mailbox, the room mailbox accepts those meeting, declines whatever the conditions are set, and you can share this or set these values on the room mailbox. Again, the licensing, the credential feature for that is also disabled. You can only access meetings to these room mailbox. That does not mean if that room mailbox is a license, it is not able to send emails or receive emails. Definitely you can do that, but that, as per suggested by Microsoft, is actually not a recommended practice. So for sending and receiving email purposes, only user mailboxes are widely used, post which if there is any common room mailbox which needs to be accessed by multiple people, then shared mailboxes are taken into consideration. If we walk on to the next one, so this is exactly what uh, we discussed right now, wherein if we say mailbox, that is the user mailbox, it would be a license required feature. You would not be able to use this feature without being paying it. So resource would be free, shared would be free, but mailbox would not. However, in some migration cases, whenever you provision a user mailbox in cloud, so by default you get the grace period of 30 days, meaning if you have created a new mailbox with the help of PowerShell command, not with the help of GUI, because GUI is not going to allow you the graphical user interface to be able to provision a mailbox. But let's say if there are some PowerShell tweakers with the help of some script or some command, if they provision a new mailbox, so definitely the mailbox would get created. The user would also be able to receive or send emails using that mailbox, but it would be into grace period. Why? Because we have not assigned licenses to it. So even if you create a mailbox and if you're not going to assign license, so automatically after 30 days, whatever data which was being stored on that container on the mailbox is going to get automatically deleted. The reason being, after 30 days, it would keep a check that this mailbox simply does not have a license and automatically it would get deleted. So this is all about user mailbox. If we see user mailboxes with individuals, generally one person, two person. as it says, one person to a person set, and it would only be including two plans within it. That is Exchange Online Plan 1, which comprises of 50 GB, and Exchange Online Plan 2, which comprises of 100 GB. So depending upon the number of a usage, one can go ahead and can share or start using a user mailbox. There are some exceptions where some people like who try to send out emails from some sale team or from HR team who requires the container to be getting in fulfilled in every 6 months or a year, because the level of emails they send or receive is too much compared to a normal user. So for them, yes, there is a feature called as archiving, unlimited archiving, which we would be seeing in our next upcoming videos. But yes, to what a user mailbox is. So user mailboxes just gets comprises of two features within it. There is a 50 GB mailbox and a 100 GB mailbox, both being a paid version of it. So unless you are going to pay it, you're not being able to use it. Similarly, you have a shared mailbox, and within a shared mailbox, by default, it is free of cost. You can create hundreds of shared mailboxes without any issues, and you the moment you would be creating a shared mailbox, so by default, the size or the storage which gets in provision to a shared mailbox is 50 GB, and you'd be able to use this mailbox for 50 GB. If someone is going to use this data for free, definitely they can do that. But yes, they'd not be able to log in as a shared mailbox. They'd be still logging in from their user mailbox, and if they need to access this shared mailbox, they need to be a delegate to this shared mailbox so they can access the contents within the shared mailbox. And as said, resource or equipment mailbox would be used for appointment or meeting purposes, so that we can send calendar invites using this resource or room mailbox, and you can easily attend meetings or create appointments. So that is it from our side for this specific presentation. Now, what I would do is I would quickly walk you through the GUI, as if you know where exactly these things gets created and how you can see that. So if you see, this is the Office Admin Center, the Azure Active Directory, and no matter even if you are going to create an object, so these are all the objects here. So if you see on the licensing part, you would see all these licenses attached for these specific objects, and for for the stuff which you see that which are unlicensed, so don't consider this to be, a waste object, because if you see from the name, I have given it as a resource mailbox and this is a shared mailbox. As I've told you that these are license free, that I do not want to pay for them but still use the storage services with it. So yes, the objects by hook or by crook are going to get visible onto this Azure Active Directory page. If you want to see the shared mailboxes, you can also have a look from this Office Admin Center page itself, and this is the page where you can see all these options, all these things associated with that shared mailbox and stuff. And there is also one way to see it from the Exchange Admin Center. As I was telling you, whichever user for which you see the Office 365 license, let me share one example with you, considering my own example for this one. So what I was telling you about Exchange Online Plan 1. So if we see under licensing and apps here, we should be able to see this. You see Plan 1, Plan 2. So because I have multiple licenses assigned, I have also assigned an E5 license to me and an E3 license to me. So these are service plans. So it is being showing both of these things to me, but literally it is only going to provision one mailbox for me. So if it goes and it provisions two mailbox, then it would be a conflict and Exchange would get confused as if where exactly the mail should be getting and delivered. So irrespective of how many licenses you assign for the same service plan, these are called as service plan, it is only going to assign one single service. Okay, and now how to see this? So whichever object which has an Exchange Online Plan 1 or a Plan 2, they are automatically going to get viewed on this classic Exchange Admin Center. We also have this new Exchange Admin Center where we can see all these objects at this place. So if you see from the new Admin Center, it also shows you up that this is a shared mailbox and the recipient type is considered over here. If you see recipient type, these are recipient types: user mailbox, shared mailbox, and you are able to see both of this. If you need to check with the resources one, it is going to get it set up over here. So the type shows as room resources one and the same, not a big difference, or it is almost the same. And similarly, if you would see this from this page, I'll show you this option. So this is my mailbox, and if you need to check with the size for this mailbox, you can just click on mailbox usage and you can check the size. So you see, so this I have got 95 GB of my mailbox access. So definitely this is an exchange online plan too, out of which I've only managed to use 46 megs out of 95 gigs. So this is how it would be showing you all the attributes associated with this mailbox and all the other things. And this is mailbox delegation, which I'm going to show you in the shared mailboxes list. So let's say shared mailbox. So this is my shared mailbox. And let's say if I want someone to access this shared mailbox, okay, if you see the usage, it is going to show you 50 gigs, that is 49.5 gigs free of cost. You do not have to pay anything for this. And let's say if I want someone to be able to access this mailbox, so the thing which you need to get it permitted through is the delegation permission, which are here. And if you see this full access permission, these are the two folks, these are the two objects which are supposed to be getting in used with this stuff, that is these two objects would be able to access this mailbox. Now, how to access it, I would be showing you in a different video. I'll be creating a separate video which talks about exchange permissions. And in that video, I'm going to show you how full access permissions are given. I mean, you just need to add it and how it needs to be accessed. I can show you in the different video coming through. Okay, so this is all about it and how to check about recipient. I've already been connected with this PowerShell, and if you see in, so this is my mailbox. This is a user mailbox definitely, and this is the recipient type. So there are two different things in over here. So if you would check this, this is a user mailbox. I'll quickly check it for shared mailbox. Let me check what my shared mailbox's email address is. Shared at nori12.com. So it would be shared at nori12.com pipe fl, and I need to check with the recipient type for this one. And similarly, once this output gets come through, I'll also be showing you the resources object. So this mailbox's email address is room1 at nori12.com. So get hyphen mailbox hyphen identity room1 at nori12.com. So if you see, this is a user mailbox, a shared mailbox, and a room mailbox. Now, if you would closely focus on these two attributes, this is the most important question which asks, and trust me, guys, people having 4 to 5 years of experience fails to get this question answered, though it is a level 100 or a level 150 type of a question. But if you need to bifurcate that, how I would be focusing on which type of a mailbox is or what is the parameter value called. So if someone asks you that what is the recipient type for a user mailbox, so if you see the recipient type for a user mailbox is user mailbox itself. If you see the recipient type for a shared mailbox, it is again considered as user mailbox. If you see this, the recipient type the recipient type for a room mailbox, it is again user mailbox. So meaning whether it is a room mailbox, a shared mailbox, or a user mailbox, the recipient type is going to be the same. That is called as a user mailbox. So how it gets segregated from this one? So that parameter's name is called as recipient type details. So whenever you would be focusing through GUI or through PowerShell, so always keep in close view with this parameter, which is recipient type detail. So if you would focus, this clearly isolates me that Rizwan's mailbox is a user mailbox, this shared mailbox identity is a shared mailbox, and this room mailbox in over here is a room mailbox. So this is the parameter which easily bifurcates and makes us understand that how to rectify this, which type of a mailbox is this. So this was all about mailboxes section. If you have any queries or any questions, feel free to contact me, and the details have already been given over here. And you can also contact me on info@alifconsulting.com. And that was it from my side for this session. Wish you guys have great understanding listening to this. If you have any queries or concerns, feel free to contact us. We would be more than happy enough to help you on this. And that is all from my side. Thank you. You take care of yourself and you stay safe. Bye bye.